What's going on, guys? Harley, good to have you. Peter, good to see you. John, good to see you. Nice day in Arizona, cooking chicken quarters. That sounds good, and that's something that I hadn't done in a while. I love some chicken quarters. That's hard to beat. John, that's one of the reasons why we're just a tad late, because we've been waiting on the old chimp, but it looks like FedEx is up to their old tricks again and just hadn't come through. Supposed to be here today by the end of the day, before 8 o'clock, and nothing. So let me check one more time on the old tracking. I need to go to the other one. But I got a feeling it's not coming today. Just got that feeling. Let's see. And scheduled delivery pending. What does that mean? No scheduled delivery date available at this time. That means it ain't coming. I'm going to tell you, FedEx is something else. I hardly ever hear anything negative said about UPS, but man, FedEx is just struggling. Mark Summers, hey man. Austin, how you doing?
Mike. Chad's packing for Bristol again.
Smiley's still packing for Bristol. Matt, good to see you. Rick, great to have you, man. Glad you could make it. I'm tied up in my dadgum microphone deal.
Hey, Mark.
Good to have all you guys. We'll wait just another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Haven't blown away yet. That's good, Austin. Kip, what's going on, man?
Hey, my girl, Rhonda.
Pulling a skid steer, but stuck in traffic. Kip, that reminds me of old Ward Burton when he used to drive for Caterpillar, and he tried to do that Caterpillar skid steer loader commercial, and he couldn't say skid steer loader. Yeah, Kip, I think you might have been demoted again. Rick, Kip was in your place for a while telling us when we could start, but now old Rick's back. Does Kip have to ask Rick when we can start? Jerry, that's pretty good. All right, Rick, whenever you're ready, we'll get started. Whenever Kip tells you that you can tell us to start, we'll get started.
Green light.
So Kip just gave Rick the green light. All right, guys, real quick. Once we get started, no, it's y'all's show, Rick. It's y'all's show. You guys are why we show up every week. I appreciate all of you. Real quick, y'all know that I got a Lord help. I got a root canal last week, and so all is good with that. But now I've got the bottom tooth has got my whole jaw and everything messed up. So I'm going Monday to get that one fixed. So we'll see if we can make it through. I'm gonna have to self-medicate until Monday, and then hopefully that one gets fixed. So working through that. In case you didn't hear, I mean, the chimp was supposed to be here today by 8 o'clock, and FedEx screwed the pooch again. and evidently it's having to be rescheduled or something. Who knows? It probably got lost. It's with what's his name on that island out there, Castaway. So who knows? I've about had it with FedEx. I'm telling you. And if you work with FedEx and all that, I apologize, but man, seems like every time you turn around and you're expecting something, FedEx says, "No, we're gonna make you wait another day." So, whatever. We're gonna keep rolling with it. Wilson, thank you, Kip. Thank you for Wilson. Jameson Black Barrel is what I'm self-medicating with. Well, I need some of that to slosh around this too. Maybe I need to do like old Tom Hanks and get one of them ice skating shoes and just put it right there and just bam and knock that thing on out. Yeah. Wilson is using the chimp right now. So we'll go ahead and get started. Going to Mexico Tuesday for dental work. What? Root canals, $150, had an implant. You're going to Mexico for dental work. John, I don't know if that's a good idea. Larry, good evening.
Hey, Larry.
I'm not sure about the dental work. It is cheaper now. That's true. That's true. But I John, let us know how that turns out because I'm a little nervous for you, to be honest with you. But we'll see how it goes. The corned beef brisket video that I posted this weekend is doing pretty well. Got some really good comments on it. I've been really happy with it so far. Had a couple of questions about time and temps and that kind of thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute about the time and temp stuff. Man, those Facebook groups are killing me. So we'll talk about the time and temps in a minute, and we're going to talk about just trying to help each other out a little bit. And that kind of goes back to those Facebook groups again. I'll tell you about that in a minute too. But first thing I want to talk about is it's going to be a good show. First thing I want to talk about is something that I covered a little bit Sunday. And I guess, some of you weren't real happy with what I was talking about, but I think I was a little bit misunderstood, to be honest with you, because the reason why I do the show for the most part is just to share, number one, and it started out sharing with recipes and stuff like that, and I enjoyed the sharing part. But then, as it kind of went along, somehow I got to where I was helping people, with questions about the grilling part and stuff like that. And then it got into, as I got more grills, it got into grilling help, stuff like that. So that's really what I want to do is help people with their cooking stuff, with their ingredients, with their, how they cook and things like that. But then also when it comes to grilling and grills and stuff like that, try to make them aware of what's out there, make them aware of things that I think they should be aware of and stuff like that. And so, and also concerns I have about the grilling industry, and what affects us grillers. And so that's kind of what I was talking about Sunday a little bit about, branding and I guess branding has caught my eye a little bit more since FedEx is not the goat, Chad. You're right. Rich Hinderbergen Steinsenhauster. Well, thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. But anyway, I'm trying to, just kind of help people out and talk about that kind of stuff. Well, the part that I was kind of trying to get to Sunday was that, because I've kind of created my own brand and I want to, do what I can to enhance it, but not do something to hurt it. I think a lot of grill companies do that sometimes. And so I brought up, grills being in big box stores and discount stores and stuff like that, and how I thought that that did not help the brand. I'm not necessarily knocking anybody that purchases those grills. I'm more concerned about the people that are purchasing the grills, concerned about it, not degrading them. And one of the reasons why I mentioned that, because I want to help people. And so maybe I didn't go into enough depth about that. Um, he did, Kip. Thanks. Um, and so I want to explain that a little bit farther because um, that wasn't intended to degrade anybody for making those purchases. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of what they're getting, number one. And number two, realize that, you know, there's a lot of things that you're not going to get from, say, a big box store that you might get from a grill company, a legitimate grill company, and those kinds of things. Genocide Riz just bought Pitbull 700 for very cheap. I'm second guessing myself if I put in another $300 for Pitbull's 1000 Austin. What you think? All right. Well, that kind of goes along with what I'm talking about. But please be aware that if you ask what I think, I'm going to tell you what I think, and you may not like what I think. But, you know, we're talking about grills. That's not life or death. There's a lot of things that we could talk about each other about a lot more serious than grills. We're talking about grills. So, but I'll tell you what I think, but I'm going to go about it in the way that I was talking about Sunday. And this is probably going to be a roundabout way of answering your question. And it goes back to being a brand. And if it was me, if it was my brand, I probably wouldn't go into the big box stores or the discount stores because I don't think that would help me much. No problem, Stephen. Good to have you, man. So I'm gonna go about it this way. And I did some research today just to make sure that I was on a, being accurate in the stuff that I'm gonna say. And how you doing, Bushy Botto? I guess I'm saying that right. Robert, good to see you. And so I did some research and looked at some grills that are in big box stores, and to prevent anybody from, Gavin, good to see you, getting a little sideways because I mentioned a grill name. I'm just going to substitute the name of the grills that I looked up for Piddlin Smokers. That way nobody gets bent out of shape about it. But I looked up Piddlin Smokers, for example, and I looked at their website first. And so if you've got they've got like a Piddlin 1200 on their website. This is their legitimate website. Now they don't sell it on the website. You've got to go to a store website that they link to. So I hit the link. And the Piddlin Smoker 1200 was like $650. This is the part that bothers me about this kind of stuff, because I don't think it's right for the barbecue guy. I don't think it's right for the barbecue backyard guy that's not aware that this is going on. And this is why I want to help you out there if you're not aware. So $650 on Piddlin Smoker's website, Piddlin Smoker 1200. Okay. But then I go to the big box store and look up the Piddlin Smoker 1200, and and I'm just using the fake name, but this is Real Grills. It was actually Walmart. And the same exact grill is, well, I say that, the same exact grill that's named the exact same was $396. Now that's $254 difference. So if I'm saying, well, there's a Piddlin 1200 over here for $650, but this store's got a Piddlin 1200 for $396, which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the $396 one, right? And you're going to go buy the $396 one, and you're going to get it home, and you're jacked up. And so let me say I bought it, and Harley just bought one too. Harley says, man, I just bought a Piddlin 1200. Me too. What'd you pay for yours? Man, I didn't pay but $396 for mine. And Harley's like, pissed, man, I paid $650 for mine. And I'm laughing at him. I think I got a good deal, right? Until I start having problems with my Piddlin 1200. And then I go over to Harley's house and I realize, wait a minute now. We both bought Piddlin 1200 smokers. How'd you get a side shelf on yours? Mine don't have a side shelf. Well, it came on it. Well, mine's only got 2 casters. Yours has got 4 casters. Well, that's the way it came. Yours has got a bottom shelf. How come mine don't have a bottom shelf? Well, how'd you get that controller? My controller don't look anything like that. That is what I looked up today on these 2 sheets of paper. This grill on the company's website, but it's got 1 letter after the number on the end that this one don't. But people aren't going to pay attention to that. I bought a Piddlin 1200. Just like that guy, I thought. This grill right here, $254 less. They're both named almost identical. This grill right here weighs 44 pounds less than this one. Same company, almost exactly identical, same name. Whoever bought this grill at the discount store thought they were buying this grill and just getting a great deal. 44 pounds less. That's 44 pounds of steel somewhere. That's why I say, go knock on them. It's 44 pounds less. This is from their own websites. I'm not making that up. You know what I mean? But that's what people aren't aware of. It's kind of like, you know, me and Harley were talking earlier. You know, Brandy goes and buys a Toyota Camry and pays $20,000 for it. Somebody else says, man, I love that car. She goes to the same dealership. Hey, Brandy was here yesterday. She bought a Camry. Yeah, we can give you the same deal. So they sell that person a Camry for $20,000. And both of them are happy until they end up parking side by side at the mall. And Brandy's friend gets out and says, wait a minute now. Your car's got steel wheels on it. I got hubcaps. How'd you get the sunroof? How'd you get the V6 when I got a 4-cylinder? I thought we bought the same car. I mean, they're both Toyota Camrys. A Camry is not a Camry. Piddlin Smoker is not a Piddlin Smoker. It depends on where you buy it. That's what bothers me, and that's what aggravates me about the box stores. And this is no different, and Harley's not going to mind me saying it. Because I don't just mention 1 or 2 grills. Traeger has had this problem for a long, long time. And Traeger has been trying to get away from this problem for several years now. And they're still going to have probably several more years of trying to get out from under it. They realized that they made a mistake of getting into the big box stores, of getting into QVC and Costco's because when people go to a Costco and buy a Texas Elite 34 or whatever, they think that, well, it says Traeger and it's got 34 in it. They think they just brought a Pro 34. And it's not the same. It's got a bronze level controller on it, and the Pro 34's got a gold level controller on it. It's not the same. But they think it should operate the same. It's kind of like going and getting a steak from Bilo and expecting it to taste like Wagyu. It's not going to do it. So that's what bothers me, and that's what I want people to be aware of. I've said from the get-go that if you're going to purchase a grill, you need to make sure that it's going to meet your expectations from a build standpoint, that it's going to meet your expectations as far as who you cook for and what you cook, and it has to meet your budget. And if it meets those things, then I'm happy for you. I don't care what brand it is. I don't care what brand it is. If it meets your expectations and it meets your needs, then I'm happy for you. What I don't want to happen is, and it happens all the time, I see it on these Facebook groups. They get on there and they say, I'm having problems with my grill. It won't do this. It won't do that. I'll use Traeger again, for example. And Harley would probably agree with me. There's two groups. You got all these Traeger people over here, and they're having problems with their grills. You got all these people over here that have had Traegers for 5, 6, 7 years, and they will say, I don't know why y'all are having all these problems. I haven't had a bit of problem with my Traeger. But this group over here, 90% of them, there's always 10% that doesn't follow the rule, but 90% of them, throughout that conversation, it's going to come out. I mean, I bought it at Costco, or I bought it on QVC, or I bought it at XYZ store. But they expect it to perform like the Pro 34s of this group over here. They think that they bought, it says Traeger on the lid. It's supposed to be the same. It's not the same. This one grill right here is $396. What do you think the cost is on that grill? Think about it. $396 for a pellet smoker. A decent sized pellet smoker at that. $396. If they sold it to the store for $250. So now they're down to $250. The company is, Piddlin Smokers is. What do you think my cost was to build it? Less than $100. Think about that. Russ, I'm going to make one this weekend and ship it to you. Think about that. You're talking about the cost of less than $100 to build a pellet smoker, a quality pellet smoker. That's where the missing 44 pounds of steel comes in. You see what I'm saying? The same exact company. I looked up vertical smokers. One on their website, one in a big box store. The same exact name. It looked exactly the same. There was like $200 difference in the price. But down there in the bottom, one was 590 something square inches. The other one was about 50 square inches less, because one came with 4 racks, one came with 3 racks. But they look exactly the same. The name's exactly the same. The people who bought them over here think that they bought the same thing that you could have got over here, but they got a great deal. They didn't get a great deal. They didn't get the same grill. That's what I want you to be aware of. I'm not trying to degrade anybody for purchasing what they can afford. I'm trying to make you aware that purchasing an engagement ring from Dollar General probably isn't the best place to purchase an engagement ring. Um,
Mm-mm.
don't buy cars from a livestock show. You know, if it were me, I wouldn't buy a grill from Home Depot. I might buy a saw or a axe or some lumber. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand. I see too many people making that mistake. And here's the other thing, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. Here's the difference. And this is the way I would want to be. Like if I had my Piddlin 1200 smoker, it wouldn't matter if I sold it in my own store, if I sold it at Atlanta Grill Company, or if I sold it in a Walmart, it would be the same grill. It'd be the same grill. If you buy a Weber kettle, it doesn't matter if you buy it on Amazon, if you buy it in Walmart, if you buy it from Weber.com, from Cabela's, it doesn't matter. If you buy a Weber kettle, it's a Weber kettle. If you buy a Weber kettle for $200 and I buy a Weber kettle, same size, same color, same everything, for $180, I just got a better deal. But it's going to be the same grill. You cannot say that for pellet smokers. You can't say that. You know, the other night, me and Brandy are flipping through the channels. We scroll through QVC, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Go back to QVC. Traeger Grills on QVC. I'm like, why are they doing that? They're trying to get away from that. Why are they doing that? Some grill named Homestead 520. Well, go to Traeger website and try to find Homestead 520. It's not on there. It's not on there. This grill right here from the big box store, the vertical one, if you go to their real website, the company website, the grill company website, you're not going to find it on there because they're specially made for these big box stores. They're not the same grills. They're not the same quality. I'm all about shopping on a budget. I mean, I'm a teacher. She's a teacher. You know, I've got a master's degree and make barely $50,000 a year. So I'm concerned about discounts and budgets. But at the same time, you know, there's a difference between, in other words, when I bought the Silverbac, I wanted to get the most for my money. And I feel like I did. If I was going to spend that much on a grill, I wanted the most for my money. And so we saved. We got some tax money. We saved. I sweated for how long?
A long time.
I mean, she just kept saying, just order it, just order it. And I was sweating. And I had my finger on the trigger and I was shaking. And then I hit it. And then I'm like, oh God, I just ordered it. Because it was a lot of money.
But you use it.
Yeah, every week.
And it's good.
Every week. 2 years, and it looks almost like I did when I got it. So I'm just trying to help you out. I don't want you to make a mistake like I see all these guys on social media doing. I just bought so-and-so and it ain't working and it won't hold temp and it won't do this and it won't do that. Well, where'd you buy your grill? What grill company did you buy your grill from? Costco. Gun companies make a cheaper version of certain models just for Walmart. Bingo. Bingo, Chad. Bingo. Deceptive advertising goes on a lot in the world. Yes, it does, Gavin. Yes, it does. So again, I'm just trying to point things out so that everybody can be aware and make educated decisions. So go up a little bit. There we go. And you know, Russ, some people do. They have to learn it the hard way. The problem is now that grills are so expensive, that's a hard lesson and an expensive lesson to learn. It really is. But again, all you gotta do is look. And when you see the differences and the games that some of these companies are playing, some of it almost ought to be illegal, almost. But again, that's the kind of things that hurt your brand in the long run to me. Sooner or later, it's going to come back on you. Sooner or later. Whew. Man, I feel better. Well, Iron Bean coffee. Russ Jones, what's cooking this week? My man, where's the Vegemite? Where is it at? You've already gotten it. You're just not telling anybody. Eddie Hanks.
Waiting on the patches, Eddie. I'm waiting on the patches.
Eddie, I'm about to go kill a cow and start making patches. I'm waiting on the patches. Waiting on the patches. That's exactly right, Russ. Exactly right. They'll say solid steel, and technically, I guess they're not lying. You're right. Well, I didn't buy it. Now, Daddy just brought it home and said, "Here's your car." Yeah, my first car was a Chevy Vega. Besides the Pinto, it's one of the worst cars ever made. Come on, I know it's there, Russ. He must have used you. Yeah. Well, maybe it's sitting on my little chimp tailgater grill that was supposed to be here today. I believe you, Russ. I know you one of the honest few out there. An old guy said it don't cost no more to go first class. You just can't stay as long. Amen.
Exactly.
Amen. All right, so here's another thing that I want to kind of address. And again, I was trying to help the guy, and I think he took offense. Maybe I just need to quit helping people. There was a guy that told me one time, well, a guy that I coached with, he used to say it all the time. He said, "No good deed goes unpunished." And that's kind of the way I felt this week. Every person I try to help, it was like I shouldn't even tried. But a guy got on, Facebook group. Some of you probably saw it. And I don't mean anything by it toward this guy. I think he intended for it to be a good idea. But he said he kept having problems and issues and inconsistencies with time and temp. And so he had went out and purchased a notebook. And he had titled it, like time and temp. And he was going to start logging what he cooked, the temperature that he cooked it at, and how long it took, stuff like that. I love you. And so, and I think it was maybe addressed more towards sides, but at first the way it sounded, it was going to be more towards meats. And I just said, please don't waste your time logging all these time and temps, because you're really wanting to cook to internal temperature, not a time and temp. Because if you buy 5 different Boston butts, even if they're 8 pounds a piece, they're not the same, and they're going to cook differently. Or a cook that you did in the wintertime may not be the same as a humid day that's 98 degrees in South Georgia in the summertime. It's going to be different. There's so many things that determine, how long it takes to get to the ideal time and ideal internal temperature. So, if I were you, I wouldn't waste all that time writing down times and temps. You just want to cook to internal temperature. Well, that didn't go over too well, and so it is what it is. He can keep his log of time and temps, and But I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they always asking time and temp. Hey, what was the time and temp on that ham? What was the time and temp on that turkey? And so, like if Harley was to ask me, what was the time and temp on that ham? And I say, 250 for 8 hours. Well, he's going to cook a ham at 250 for 8 hours. And if he takes it off and it's raw and everybody's sick, then, so you can't do that. It should be towards internal temp, not time, internal temperature, not time and temperature. Mark Summers, I appreciate that. Time and temp doesn't work in West Texas very well. Weather changes too often. And it's about the same here in South Georgia too, Austin. It really is. Way too many variables. That's right. And I even put that in the comment, ambient temperature, the fuel that you're using, even with pellets, mesquite's going to burn hotter than an apple would or a pecan or something like that, So there's the fat content of the meat. All those things are going to affect how long it takes for a cook to, reach its ideal internal temp. But so you just keep trying to help, Jacqueline and Dad, good to have you. Good to have you. What was the other thing? Oh, the other. There was a guy. I felt sorry for the guy, and this is what I'm talking about when I say, I'm trying to help people. They do. They obsess over that time and temp, and really make it too hard. Make it too hard, and like old Mark says with Grilla Grills, his theory on coming out with grills was keep it simple, stupid. And that's it. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Roy, good to have you. I appreciate that, Roy. Thank you very much. And it's great to have you. Great to have you. Glad you commented. This poor fella, I felt sorry for him. He and I've kind of mentioned this a little bit before, like when I got into woodworking stuff, there's 1,000 different ways to build a side table. Somebody might go all out and use mortise and tenons or biscuits or dowels, or they may not use a single bit of hardware. Somebody might build that same table but use pocket joinery, Craig jigs, screws, wood glue. But it's all woodworking. At least they are building something with their hands. Let's encourage all of it. And that's the way I feel. Well, this poor fella on Sarah Brooke, my beautiful daughter. This poor fella decided to, and I think he had just kind of he was getting his feet wet with smoking. And he had cooked him a pork butt. And he had posted a little video on one of those Facebook groups, of him pulling the pork butt apart. And there was a couple things that struck me right off the bat, but just because they strike me right off the bat doesn't mean I need to go ahead typing and just type it on out there. Maybe it has to do with maturity. Maybe some of these guys are just young and feel like being buttholes to people. But just because I see something and I think it, now as I've gotten older, I think, there's no need to type that. I can keep that to myself. That guy enjoyed it. He thought he did a great job. That's all that matters. Hey, good job, buddy. But then people brutal with comments on his stuff. First thing that I noticed is I thought, man, that kind of looks a little dry. I didn't type that, but I thought it. But then he said something like he cooked it for 23 hours. Now I've cooked a lot of pork butts in my day, and there's not many that I have cooked half that time. 11, 12 hours is probably the most I've ever cooked, and that's for an 8 or 9 pound butt. That's a pretty big butt, really. I like big butts. I can't lie. But that's about as long as I've cooked them. But he cooked this thing 23 hours. I don't know what took so long, and I don't know all that. But then I thought, well, maybe that's why it looks a little dry. But still, I didn't type all that. But man, these guys were brutal. Man, that thing looks dry. There ain't a bit of moisture in that thing. You crazy for cooking it 23? I mean, just on and on and on, brutally sticking it to this guy. Well, I got off there for a little while, and then I got back on there, and this guy had reposted a little paragraph and said, basically, thanks to all you buttholes in here, I have removed that post. So he removed his little video. He had removed it. And because of all that, he'll probably never post anything like that again. Instead of having some constructive criticism and telling him, hey, next time, why don't you try this? Why don't you try wrapping it? Why don't you try doing this? Something. But no, it was just an attack, really. I guess they're trying to make themselves feel like they were the goat of all pit masters in their backyards. And I felt sorry for the guy. And he said, I just want, trying to share and want some help. And so I reached out to him on Facebook Messenger and just told him, I'm not an expert, don't claim to be, never have claimed to be. But I showed him the link to my channel if he wanted some ideas. And if he ever needed any help with anything, just to send me a private message and I'd help him out with whatever he needed some help with, if I could help him, if I had a little bit of help that I could give him. And so, but that's what I want to try to avoid. Some of these guys that are just getting into barbecuing and just getting into grilling and smoking, if they go through something like that, they're never going to share anything again. They're going to be scared to share anything again because of all the ridicule that they're going to get. And I just think that's sad, and you got people like Rush, that I would rather just encourage these guys that are just getting into it. And, if I can give them some pointers, then give them some pointers, but be constructive about it instead of just beating them down to where they're not going to come back. They're just going to get out of it. They're going to sell their grill or whatever. And just, that's just a shame in my opinion. So, just kind of think about that a little bit. If you ever get an opportunity to help one of these guys that are just getting into grilling or just bought a grill or whatever the case may be, and you have the opportunity to either ridicule them or help them, it's probably a lot easier to ridicule them, but it's a lot better to try to offer some help to them, because we all started somewhere. Fred, good to see you, man. How's that grandbaby? Good to see you. Fred, I bet Fred, if he sees somebody, just got into coffee roasting, he don't go over there and hammer them. If he sees something they're doing wrong, Fred's the kind of guy that's going to go over there and help them out. So I wish, there was more people like that. It's a lot easy. It's really easy to sit behind the keyboard and just freely type without any consequences. If you could actually reach through the screen and grab them by the throat, they probably wouldn't do that as much. But there's no consequences for it, so they just feel the need. Amen. Amen. I'm never impressed with how much a man knows. I'm impressed with how much a man shows or teaches. Spoken like a poet, Eddie. Like a daggum poet. I'm telling you, I wish I could reach through sometimes. But anyway, so that was, and I apologize for that. That was 45 minutes of blowing off steam, I guess. But I'm done blowing off steam. Besides the fact that FedEx is terrible. Besides that fact, I will let you in on a little tidbit of info me and my brother talked about earlier today. Harley, should I talk to him about that? And Russ, you might be able to speak to this. I know some of you, some more of you probably will be able to as well. Me too. Smell-o-vision would be good. Smell-o-vision would be good. Maybe a little beer vision. Beer vision. That'd be really good. From now on, it's Wilson, Kip. From now on, it's Wilson. I have wanted a Kamado style grill for a long time. I've talked about it before. I've talked about it with Eddie before. I've wanted a Kamado style grill for a long time. There's two grills that I want, and I'm not getting any more grills. I would like to have a Kamado style cooker, and I would like to have a stick burner. If I get those two, then I'm done. And right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And if FedEx ever comes to my house, I'll have 5 pellet grills. I don't need 5 pellet grills. And I'm really impressed with that Traeger Pro 780. And to be honest with you, I like it better than that Timberline. I don't know why, I just do. And an opportunity has come up, thanks to my brother, that I might be able to wheel and deal a little bit with the Tailgater and a Kamado Joe Classic 2. And so I'll probably look at that and decide that tomorrow. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. Russ, I know you've had a Kamado Joe. I'm not sure which version you had or if it was the big one or what you had, but be curious to see what you thought about the Kamado Joe. But if anybody else out there has experience with a Kamado Joe, y'all tell me what y'all think about it. But, I just don't need that many pellet grills. If you cook something on a pellet grill and then you cook the same thing on that pellet grill, I mean, it's a pellet grill. They're going to taste the same if you use the same pellets and that kind of thing. So I had a Classic and a Big Joe. Both were great Kamados. Now, Russ, what other Kamado style? Didn't you have you have a grill dome at one time? What'd you think about that, and how did they compare? And I know Eddie. I mean, Eddie is the goat of all Kong pit masters. I know Eddie loves that Kong. I had a grill dome, and currently, that's right. You've got a slow and sear Kamado. Yeah. So would you recommend a Kamado, any Kamado style, Russ? I mean, you like cooking on them? Because I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about working it out where we can make some kind of deal. This Kamado Joe's only been cooked on twice. Kamado Joe Classic 2. So they'll do about the same, but the ceramics are not great in a grill dome. Yeah, that's kind of what I heard too. And that kind of confirms that. So, and it looks like the Kamado Joe, that Classic 2 comes with a lot of accessories and stuff. So I think all ceramics are good. What separates them are the bands, hinges, and nests they sit in. And that's probably a very accurate assessment, Eddie. I missed my Joes, so when I got the slow and sear, it filled that gap. Yeah. And And I don't know. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Drive safely. Drive safely. Thank you for joining. And I guess, and I don't know why I feel this way. I guess it goes back to the Ford, Chevy, Dodge thing. I think they're all good trucks. You just, for some reason, you just lean towards one or the other, And I don't know why it is. It's kind of like with the pellet grills. I think, if you ask me, I think Rectech probably builds good pellet grills, but for some reason, something doesn't hit me right about them. And it's kind of the same thing with Big Green Egg. I've just never had a desire to have a Big Green Egg, but the Kamado Joes, the Kong, have always kind of piqued my interest. Also, I saw that Blaze Kamado looked really interesting too. That all aluminum, I think, Kamado, that thing looked really cool. But if I have this opportunity and we can, kind of make a deal with that, and Harley's helping me with that, Kamado Joe that's only been cooked on twice, that would fill that ceramic niche, I guess you could say. And because right now, I really don't have any way of making any kind of video with a ceramic grill. So, a lot of guys that cook on ceramics don't really want to watch videos very much that are on pellet grills or, in a barrel style cooker or something like that. They want a ceramic. So that'll kind of fill that void a little bit. So I'll let you know, she has to help her sister. I think they're sewing up some kind of dress or something for her niece who's going to be in a pageant. I think that was what the emergency was. So, and I've heard some good things about the Weber Summit too, but right now, I think, Russ, you kind of had this issue at one time too. I'm kind of getting to where my back porch is a little full. So I'm kind of getting rid of one of my grills. I'm gonna give it to my oldest son. I think he needs a grill, and so I've kind of promised him one, and I can create a little space. And until I can get that stick burner. Once I get the ceramic, then the only thing that'll be left to get is a stick burner. I'd really like to have that to kind of showcase in some of the cooks, and by stick burner, I mean offset. I do have the Watchman Stove, and that does really well, but that's difficult to do low and slow long cooks on. So, well, yeah, that LSG takes up probably what those 6 grills took up, I would imagine. So other than that, that's kind of what's been going on, just paying attention to that. I made some more of these signs over spring break. I probably worked harder on spring break than I did just at work making these signs. I cut up, I think, 40 feet of boards the other day and made a lot more of these signs. And I've got some more over here, and I've still got some more to work on out there. I'll show you some different colored hats that I did get in, just so you guys kind of have an idea of the color hats. I'm really extremely happy with the quality of the hats. This is why I wanted to do hats my way. And that vertical cabinet looks awesome too. Which one do you like better? Which one do you like better? Yeah, those barbecue auctions would be dangerous. Like the offset better. but I got the hats in, and a couple of them have already been spoken for. Harley's obviously getting one, but I'll show you the colors anyway, and see what you think about the colors. Keep in mind, they're going to have the brown patch on them, and I've got that other patch somewhere. Anyway, so here's one of the colors. It's kind of a gray and white. This one's a brown and khaki with a brown patch on it. I got some orange and white ones just because that's kind of my logo color. Two red, black, red, and gray. And basically I got these because I got some friends around here that are Georgia Bulldog fans for some reason. And I know that they'll probably buy them. And there's a kind of dark charcoal and white. Another brown and khaki. This one is pretty cool. I think Harley might have picked. Anyway, Brandy's got yours picked out. No, you got black and white. This was kind of a black and khaki. I kind of like that color combination. And then the one that I got on, it's a tricolor. It was just different. I kind of liked it. This is one that I'm going to wear probably. Well, it is now because I got it on. But anyway, those are the hats that I got in. I'm just waiting on the patches. But again, like the back of them on the snapback, I mean, it's got Richardson right there on it. Really nice sweatband, and they just fit your head really well. So anyway, I'm happy with them. So as soon as I get those patches in and get them sewn on, they'll be on the website, and we'll get those going. I'm at Jerry, and some people aren't going to understand it, but I'm actually going to give him my Weber Kettle Master Touch. And to be honest with you, it's simply because I never use it. I never use that thing. And it's a great grill. It's a great grill. It's easy to use. It puts out good flavor. But again, like I say all the time, if I'm gonna cook ribs, I'm gonna use that pit barrel cooker. That's just the way I like to cook my ribs on. If I'm gonna cook steaks, I'm gonna use that Watchman stove just because it gets so hot. If I'm using regular sticks, it gets a really great wood flavor. But then I can also put that charcoal insert in there and put hot charcoal in there, and it's only that far from the grill grate. It gets that grill grate real hot, sears it really well. So if I'm going to cook steaks, I'm going to use the Watchman stove. Pork butts. I've done pork butts on the Weber kettle. I even did a cook where I did a pork butt on the Weber kettle and a pellet smoker at the same time. Both of them turned out great. But I just don't use it very much, And he needs a grill. I don't think he really wants a pellet smoker. So I'm just going to give him that Weber Kettle Master Touch, and that Master Touch has some features with it, with the middle of the grate that you can take out and put accessories in, and the ash trays that you can, put your charcoal baskets that you can use to create different cooking zones with. So it's a really nice grill. I just don't cook on it enough. And so I would rather replace that little footprint on my back porch with a grill that I'm going to use a lot more. And that would probably be the Kamado Joe. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But it's not that I don't like the Weber kettle, because I do. I would recommend it, especially for an entry-level grill that'll do just about anything. You can do anything on that thing. I would definitely recommend it. But once you get past a certain number of grills, for some reason that kind of gets pushed in the back. At least for me, it did. How are you liking your Traeger Pro 780? I'm debating on getting the 575 model. Jace, I'm gonna have to be honest with you, and that's if you didn't tune in earlier. Right now, I've got the Timberline and that Pro 780 And this is going to sound crazy, but I like the Pro 780 better. I'm not sure. I just like it better. You know, that Timberline, it's like shorter but stockier. You know, and it's got 3 grates in it. But that 780 is a little bit longer. It just seems like you have more space to me to work around in. Um, you know, the that Timberline has that drawer that your grease drips in instead of having a grease can. And again, that's one of those things where it goes back to keeping it simple. And sometimes you overcomplicate things. I like that grease can a lot better than I do that little drawer that you got to pull out, because I've already had it almost fill up with grease one time, and you have to pull it out like some uh, dresser drawers where you pull them out and then you have to angle it up to get it out. Well, if you get enough grease in that drawer and you go to angle it up to get it out, grease is fixing to spill everywhere and you're fixing to have a mess. So those are just a couple of things. I really just like that Pro 780 better than I do the Timberline. So if that tells you anything, I mean, and that Timberline isn't really nice. But I do like it. I like it a lot. Me and Harley were talking about that earlier. I like it a lot. He even asked me, you know, when we were talking about maybe working out a deal with the Timberline and that Kamado Joe, if I thought that I would miss the Timberline, and I said no, I really like the 780 better. So, what to figure you'll cook mostly on the Kamado Joe. They bake really well as well, pizzas, cookies, and more. Yeah, Eddie, I've already thought about that, and I would love to cook a pizza on it, but you know, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, just like I always do. The keto stuff for the past 2 weeks, ever since I went to Bristol, has been. I mean, I fell off the wagon with the keto, so I've got to get back on that and get back to doing that the right way. So the pizzas would probably be out, although I would love to do a pizza on that using Russ Jones's pizza crust recipe. Awesome pizza crust recipe. The first thing that I'll cook, and probably Eddie, just because it's really the first thing that I cook on just about every grill that I've ever gotten. My first cook is usually a pork butt, just because I love cooking them, and I'm that's what I'm most familiar with. So I'll be able to judge taste and flavor and tenderness and moisture and all that, and see how it really turns out. And then you know, some maybe a spatchcock chicken on there or something like that, but probably a pork butt would be first. Yeah, Stephen, they're great chicken cookers, and I would love to do a spatchcock chicken on there, different versions of that. Easy wagon to fall off of. You have to eat. Yeah, well, which I was never hungry. It was just, you know, like going to Bristol. We were going in and we were camping, and 2 other people were going, and you know, you're planning a menu, and you want to cook something that everybody's going to eat, and you know, so um, it's just it's hard when you go like camping or something like that, unless everybody that's going is all doing it with you. So I love, I don't like, I love a good juicy pork butt. I do. You would not kick a guy out of the group for buying a Rectech bull. Absolutely not, Matthew. I think they're great grills. I think they are probably probably as far as um, pellet grills that are not in stores, one of the better built pellet grills on the market, I would say. I think they're very well built. Something just hits me wrong about their sales pitch. Their and I don't know any other way to put it, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, it just seems like the used car salesman type vibe is what I get, you know. And again, they're just right up the road. They're an hour and a half from me, you know, right up the road. But I've just never had a, you know, it's kind of like the big green egg. I've never really had a desire to buy a big green egg. I think they're probably great ceramics. I bet you did, Harley. I bet that was a cool experience, man. The key, and it's really with all chicken, is a way that skin's not rubbery. That's the biggest thing to me. I hate rubbery skin on a chicken. Russ, what happened? I hope y'all still see me out there. Y'all let me know. Russ says, uh-oh, off the air. Either I went off the air or he went off the air. Try cooking pork butt without plate setter. The drippings hit the lump, tastes great. That does sound good. That does sound good, Eddie, and thank you, Russ. And I can see how it would still give you that flavor, kind of like the pit barrel cooker would. I would imagine you just have to keep a really sharp eye on the temp so that you don't end up burning it on the bottom. But I bet that fat rendering down on that on those coals would add some flavor. Thank you, Kip. Eddie, what's your favorite thing to cook on the ceramic? I know you've cooked just about everything on it. Well, I hope everybody got back on. Maybe FedEx has started getting into the Wi-Fi business. So the plan for the rest of the week. If and when Wilson decides to bring me the chimp, I'm going to do a two-part unboxing and review of the chimp. The first part is going to be an unboxing. To be honest with you, FedEx probably did me a favor by Wilson probably did me a favor by not bringing it tonight, because I was just going to have the box sitting here and I wasn't going to open it, because Russ, a chimp is made by Grilla Grill and it's their first tailgater. So I've got the Grilla Grills Silverbac back here. Eddie Hanks has the Kong ceramic, and they also make just a Grilla. And so the chimp is the little tailgater, and it looks identical to my Silverbac, except it's just a smaller version with foldable legs. So they're sending me one to do a review on it, and FedEx, aka Wilson, was supposed to drop it off tonight, but they didn't. But I was going to have it sitting here just in the box, because I want to do a real legitimate unboxing, because I don't think anybody really has done one of those. Unbox it from start to finish, put it together. While I'm doing that, I'll talk about the internals. And then once I fire it up, I'll start part two. And while it's doing its burn in, I'll talk about the external features of it. So I think that would be a pretty cool little two-part video on the chimp. So that's the plan for that. I have a little Camp Chef Pursuit portable pellet smoker. It's pretty well built and actually a little heavy to be called portable. Yeah, brisket and steaks on the ceramic. Yeah, I'm curious about the steaks too. Eddie, do you have the grill grates, or do you use just the regular Kamado grates? But Russ, that's one of the things that I want to see about the Chimp is, Tom, good to have you, man. Is that the internals of the Chimp are all stainless steel, the lid's stainless steel, and so that thing weighs 90 pounds. So I'm curious to see how mobile it is and how easy it is to maneuver and all that stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to mess around with, and it's going to be pretty cool. So that's going to be a 2-part video, and then I've also got to clean up that Pro 780 and do a review on it as well. So I've got 2 reviews to do this week, and then try to cook something on top of that too. Yeah, weighs in at 90 pounds. Grill grates are great. And I still, again, that might sound crazy too, but I've got a lot of grills out there, and I don't have any grill grates. I've just never splurged and got some grill grates, which I don't really sear a whole lot. So I really never needed them, but I need to invest in me some grill grates. Yeah, I think this one, the legs fold up, and my Traeger Tailgater, I did a review on it, and the legs fold up on it too, and it's pretty light and portable, but the legs on that are a nightmare to do, especially by yourself. So I think the Chimp has kind of improved on the leg design on theirs. We're going to check it out. Gotcha. I may have to invest in me some grill grates for that. And I know it does a really good job. Everybody has said it does a really great job on, sear marks and searing and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to get some of those. Other than that, I think actually I am going to be doing a cook Saturday. I forgot about that. My daughter calls me the other day and says that she's got a friend. My daughter is she's over at Georgia Southern doing journalism, and congrats to her, by the way. She went and interviewed for the Georgia Southern University paper to be a reporter for the newspaper, and ended up getting she's now the editor for the Georgia Southern newspaper. So she was super excited about that today, and I'm super proud of her for that. But she calls me the other day and says, Daddy, I've got a friend who's in, I think, journalism as well, and she has to do a video thing, portfolio or something, where she interviews somebody and then has to film them doing whatever it is they do. And she wants to interview and film you doing a video. So I guess I'm going to be doing that Saturday. I don't know what I'm cooking. I have no idea. It'll be something simple, but that'll be different and that'll be fun. So I may film her filming me, film a video. That might be what I do. So we'll see how that goes. So in addition to, I may just let her film me film one of the reviews. That might be cool. We'll see. I've been cooking a lot lately on my Weber for a little cooker. It does a good job, and with the deflector plate, I can load it up for indirect cooking on the whole grill. Grill rates work good on both sides. Yeah, I've seen that too. The other side kind of acts more like a griddle. Very proud, Gavin. Very proud. Thank y'all. Can I link you that video? The video of her filming me film a video, I'll probably post it. Yeah, I'll probably post that. That'll be interesting. I never have outtakes, Larry. I did some the other day. I haven't done outtakes in a while, but man, there for a while I was on a roll. It seemed like I couldn't speak, like I had a mouthful of marbles or something. I'm out in the wood shop restoring a Stanley number 5 plane. That's awesome, Mike. That is awesome. Glad you found time to stop in. Most of the time the outtakes are Harley's fault anyway. Yeah, I may film. I'll get Sarah to film. I might get her to film the interview. We'll put something together. I'm sure you're very good at it, Mike. I'm sure you're very good at it. All right, guys, we've been going an hour and 16 minutes. I think we're going to wind it up. Again, check out the website for my signs, grill signs. I'm going to come up with some more stuff. But if you got something that you want on a sign that's grill related, just send me a message and let me know. Whatever size these signs are, I'll put it on there, and it'll be the same as what those signs are. I've got to do some more of the temp chart signs. I sold 4 signs Sunday, so that was pretty cool. So check those out, and again, as soon as my patches come in, Miss Piddlin will be sewing those on, and I'll get those on the website too. And then possibly I can get back to some shirts and maybe some more mugs. Yeah, Friday is supposed. Yeah, Kip, Friday is supposed to be a little nasty. You have a good one too. My top 3 go-to seasonings. That's a good question, Eddie. My top 3 go-to seasonings. Number 1, I could eat the Meat Church Honey Hog with a spoon. That stuff, I love it. That stuff is amazing. The Meat Church Honey Hog is great. I have to say, and you can buy this at Lowe's. You can buy it online. I'm sure there's other places. Harley probably knows some more places you can buy it, but Fire and Flavor has a coffee rub. It's in a brown wrapper, and it just says coffee rub, I think. Fire and Flavor coffee rub. The best coffee rub I've ever tried. Vegemite, I take that back. Vegemite is number 1 because you can do anything with that Vegemite. And then Meat Church Honey Hog. That Fire and Flavor coffee rub is amazing, and it's got some cinnamon in it or something. I mean, it's excellent. To be honest with you, I like the Grilla Grills AP rub. I don't really care for the beef rub as much, but I like their AP rub. The Traeger coffee rub is excellent. Chad was over at the house the other day, and I just threw on a little rack of spare ribs from Butcher Box and put that Traeger coffee rub on it, and that's it. I didn't touch them. I didn't do a thing. I had them on that Pro 780. I didn't touch them. 250 until I picked them up and they had a little crack in them and pulled them, and they were off the chain. So there's 3, but there's another rub to check out is Reload. Reload rub has some good rub. I subscribe to him on Instagram. They do a lot of cool pictures and stuff on Instagram. But Reload Rub has some good rub. Tango Joe Midnight Espresso, I like that a lot. What else? There's a couple of more that I know I'm missing. Just recently, a friend of mine here gave me just a thing of rub that he was raving about, and it's Charlie's Choice. You can find it online. I think you can find it on Amazon. Charlie's Choice, and it's basically a SPG type rub, but not as much pepper. So more a salt garlic type rub. But Charlie's Choice is the name of it, and it's really good. So you could do some of that Charlie's Choice and then go back over it with that Fire and Flavor coffee rub, man. So those are some of the best, probably some of my favorite rubs that I have used. Dizzy Pig is good too. There was one BBQ rub. It was like a lemon garlic, I think. That was pretty good. So I guess you can see I'm not really into the salty type rubs as much as the fresh lemon garlic type or the kind of sweet type rubs. Dizzy Pig is good. Awesome there, Mr. Johnny. I need a sign. Summers 10 Pan Q. Summers 10 Pan Q. Tin Pan Q. Give me a color, Mark. What kind of colors you want? BBQ lemon garlic. Yeah, that was good. I liked it a lot. Harley, what was that? What was that sauce that we put on those ribs that time for? Was that BBQ? That smack sauce? Wasn't it smack sauce? That stuff was good. Yeah, that stuff was good. Eddie, give me your top three. What's your top three rubs? A large empty suitcase. Black, orange. I'll see what I can come up with. Orange. Mark, you want it that size up there? That's 5.5 by 12. And that's 4.5 by 12. Harry Sue's AP Rub and Ham Grenade War Pig Barbecue. That Blues Hog Original sauce. You ain't joking, Rick. I could stick a straw in that thing. That's top three, and I don't even know what the other two are, but that's top three sauces I've ever had in my life, that Blues Hog Original sauce. Excellent. All right, Mark. I'll see what I can come up with, buddy. I'll do it. The goat. It's the goat. It is the goat or one of the goats. Mama sauce goes without saying. Her barbecue sauce was, and there was something about just it being mama sauce. It had that love factor in with that sauce. Mama sauce was good, but it was that vinegar mustard, Georgia sauce. I got to find it. I thought you had it. You probably put it in the back of your truck or something. Now, Harley, if we do the Kamado Joe deal, Are you bringing it back? I should have it shipped, probably. Mike Tabor, you had to go there, didn't you? I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, well, if you're going to bring it, straps, tailgate up, straps, maybe some chocks, something. I probably need to call FedEx. Wilson will take care of it. It may not get here on time, but it won't fall out of the truck. Yeah, I know you got me, all right. Yeah, I got you. Austin, you might need to have to go with him. The boss had to do a little help her sister with some sewing. Straps and chalks and a tailgate. I'm a little concerned. We're talking about a ceramic grill. I don't know if a dadgum Yoder Wichita would be safe in the bed of that truck. Under 95 miles an hour, yeah. Well, come on, Austin. Come on. Y'all have a good night out there in Texas. All right, guys, I'm fixing to ease on too. I got the Braves on the TV right there. It's 2-2. They lost last night, 9-6, I think. Tied 2-2, bottom of the seventh. I like the old Braves. They got some good players. I might need to explain to the subscribers where the term "gotcha" came from. Yeah, Daddy, our daddy used to say that all the time. And he, and that's where Harley gets it from, because Daddy, you never knew what he was going to do or how it was going to turn out, and you was always a little worried. But he'd always say, I got you. Of course, when he said that, that didn't make you feel any better, because, that was kind of the polite way of saying, hold my beer, because it was fixing to get good. And so now anytime me or Harley are needing each other's help, we always say, I got you, man. I got you. So, Russ, I appreciate you showing up and sharing sharing your expertise, man. Appreciate your friendship. Thank you. Hope you have a good rest of the week. All right, guys, I'm out. I got you for next time. So we got the Chimp, we got the 780, we got some kind of video portfolio coming Saturday. We'll see what that's all about. But I hope all you guys have great cooks the rest of the week. Appreciate the camaraderie. And if you get a chance to help somebody that's new to smoking and grilling, be sure to help them. So I will say until then, Harley at me tomorrow. Give me some pictures. Let me know what you think. I know you got me. New t-shirt idea. I got you. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one. Awesome. I got you. Until next time, I'll be piddling.